Hi, I'm Rich with insideHPC. We're here at SC13 in Denver, and I'm here at the Penguin Computing booth with Phil Pokorny. How you doing, Phil?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, hey, let's start at the beginning. Who is Penguin Computing, and who do you help?
So Penguin Computing is a provider of high-performance computing systems, 1U, 2U rack mount servers, integration services. We also provide professional services. We'll manage your cluster for you. We'll build the cluster for you. We can also rent you CPU cycles on a virtual cluster that we run ourselves. So we really have truly the widest range of services for HPC-interested customers in the market. Penguin Computing is the largest private HPC company in the world. So that really allows us to focus on individual customer needs and really deliver customized solutions for our customers.
So hence the name. You guys are the experts in Linux, right? Isn't that where Penguin? Okay. So what are you showing here this week, Phil?
So today here we're showing off our Relion 2808 GT. This is a kind of a unique product that was designed, to customer requirements. It has 8 GPUs and 2 rack units. And we're showing this today. We're happy to announce that it's just been qualified with the new NVIDIA K40 GPUs, which deliver outstanding GPU performance. It was previously qualified to also hold the K20s and K10s before it. And with this, for customers who have really optimized their codes to run on GPUs, this platform delivers a huge amount of computing capacity in a really small space.
So how many Xeons are feeding this beast? What do you got in it?
Right, so we've also recently qualified the motherboard with Ivy Bridge procs. So the latest E5-2600 V2 processors. There's 2 sockets with up to 16 memory DIMMs, so we can put half a terabyte of RAM in this. And there's also 10 Gigabit Ethernet in the back. But we also have expansion slots, options for RAID controllers. So it's a very functional box, really checks off all of those sort of nice-to-have features. We really haven't compromised in any way in this chassis in terms of delivering compute and storage and flexibility in a very small package.
So that's a very highly dense 8 GPUs in a 2U form factor, and with all that kind of memory. So you can just fill up racks of these, can't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, and that's one of those areas where Penguin Computing really excels, and where I think where our customers really appreciate our value is that unlike other companies where you might get a Lego set with all the pieces disassembled, what you get from us is the completed ship in a bottle model ready to go to turn on and start doing work for you.
So Phil, what do we got here?
So this is our new line of network products we called Arctica Switches. We had previously announced this is our 4804X, which has 48 10 gig ports with 4 40 gig uplinks. And here at the show we're announcing our new 3200 XL. XL is for 40 gig because each of these ports is a 40 gig Ethernet port. There's 32 of them, and we can break each of these 40 gig ports out with a breakout cable to 4 10 gig ports. So this 1U switch can actually support up to 96 10 gigabit Ethernet connected ports. And so with this one switch at the top of the rack, we can fill the rack with very dense compute and drive it all with one switch.
Okay, so what I found really interesting about this was the software. This is an open box, right? It runs some kind of Linux in there, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So the other characteristic of the Arctica switches that's really groundbreaking is that they do run Linux. We're partnering with a company called Cumulus that has some really interesting technology for managing switches. So unlike in the past where a switch had a proprietary operating system and your only access to it was a command line interface that while maybe familiar and comfortable to network administrators, was completely foreign to anyone who was a system administrator. So if your expertise was in Linux and you understood the Ubuntu etc network interfaces file, you were completely lost trying to configure your switch. But with Cumulus Linux, it runs a Debian-based distribution, and when you configure these ports, you do it in that same way that you would on any other Ubuntu box. It just looks like a host that has 48 Ethernet ports. So you can build bridges across ports, you can set up routing, you can set up VLANs, and you do all of that with the standard Linux commands like bridge control, VLAN control, vconfig, ifconfig, ethtool. All those commands work, and the Cumulus Linux software transparently makes the sort of magic happen that those Linux configurations get echoed into the silicon of the switch chip. So you get silicon switching speed, the same performance you would expect from a world-class 1U top-of-rack switch, but with the familiar configurability of Linux. That also makes, because it runs Linux, that makes it very easy to integrate into installations like OpenStack, and other Hadoop, any kind of cluster where you're already running Puppet, you may already running Chef, CF Engine, those things you can just install those tools on here and manage them the same as you do all the other servers.
You can put the Puppet and the Chef or apps code stuff right on there.
Absolutely, and manage it the same way.
Very cool. So Phil, what do we have here in this rack?
So this is a prototype of our Tundra Open HPC product line. We're showing off customers what we think is going to be a really exciting next generation technology for our HPC. So this is based on Facebook's Open Compute, Open Rack spec. This is actually an open rack. We're showing down here some standard components that Facebook came up with, their Winterfell and storage, Knox storage shelf. But you can see this is a fairly large node. It's 2 rack units high. You get 3 of them in a rack, but that's still effectively only 1.5 units per node. We think that HPC really expects a much denser solution, and so here we're showing how we believe that we'll be able to do 3 nodes per rack unit, and so in a rack like this we could fit up to 108 nodes, and at HPC kind of power levels we could actually power up to 90 nodes. We can do, with InfiniBand interconnects included, cuts the number of nodes down as we add switches and stuff, but being able to put 81 nodes in a rack with InfiniBand, all the network infrastructure, we think is a really world-class leading density, and also very serviceable. Individual nodes coming in and out.
Yeah, the sled just comes out.
Yep. We have 12-volt bus bars as a feature of the Open Rack, so we've eliminated a number of voltage conversions. The power shelves here take high voltage AC, generate 12-volt DC, which we then feed to the blade. The motherboard is just a single voltage rail, 12 volts, so that helps the motherboard be more efficient. It also makes this very economical to upgrade. So over time, as you want to upgrade things, you don't have to replace the power supplies, you don't have to replace the rails. You just slide this shelf out, get a new shelf, slide it in, slide it home, and away you go.